Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. It is time for part 3 of the Monday Q&A. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, first question. A lot of people, including yourself, promote flexible dieting, but can't giving yourself too many options turn into a bad thing? In short, no. In fact, if your concern is health and fitness, limiting your food choices is not just a moronic, but a fucking moronic idea. And the reason is that people who only eat 6 or 7 or 10 different foods throughout the week tend to have a higher chance of developing dietary imbalances. Either a deficiency in something or an overdose in something that can either have negatives itself or too much of something that blocks the absorption of something else you need. It's a good way to develop dietary imbalances to restrict food choices. And I would recommend for health purposes in general that you eat as widely varied of a diet as you can. You need to be incorporating new foods all the time. At least 2 or 3 new foods every week is what I would recommend. Some fruit or vegetable or meat or some dish or something that you probably do not remember eating regularly or eating in a long time, incorporating it just to diversify your nutrient intake. And as far as satiation and things go, if your concern is the satiation, well, that's the benefit of the flexible dieting, is that you should be able to get something that you're craving in moderation and try to work it in as long as you're hitting all of your calories, macros, your micronutrients, those vitamins and minerals. You need to be getting those from food. If you're having to resort to a multivitamin to hit those, you're probably not going about it in the most healthy of ways. You need to remember that that is just an insurance policy of multivitamin. It shouldn't be seen as your primary way to get around deficiencies because your diet sucks. And that you're getting enough fiber in. And depending on what you're doing, it's going to depend on how flexible your diet can be. Not everybody has 1,000 calories that they could throw in of empty calories of whatever they want for their numbers. Some people might be cutting so hard, and to get their fiber and their protein and their micronutrients, they may not have a single calorie left to be flexible with, and they're stuck eating mostly what people would call the bro foods and the high micronutrient dense foods because they don't have any calories left to spare. And if that's the case, and that's the case, you just got to deal with it, or you need to change your goals. But for people who are bulking and things, sometimes they have a lot of wiggle room on that as far as their empty calories go. So it's really going to be an individual thing as to what you have to work with as far as wiggle room with being flexible. But no, limited choices is not a good thing from a dietary balance perspective. All right, next question. If you are a self-styled resident expert in bodybuilding, does the fact that you have hired a physique coach then make a complete mockery of this claim? Well, as someone who has, and people seem to think that I've never done any, I've done 4 bodybuilding shows in my life when much younger, and I hired prep coaches for 2 of those, and the 2 that I didn't hire a prep coach for, I messed it up terribly. But I don't consider myself an expert on contest prep, but this is something that you will hear a lot of guys tell you over and over and over. Even guys like Mark Laubleiner, who is doing prep coaching now. Most people, 95 to 99% of people, are not psychologically capable of prepping themselves for a bodybuilding show or a physique contest and peaking correctly, even if they can peak and coach other people and have them winning. You need, for most people, to have someone who can prep you and help you through it for psychological reasons. And I've done videos breaking down why and the mistakes and how people will mess up once the pressure is up. And it's not a knock at people because a lot of people think of all of these great bodybuilders. Well, most of them have prep coaches. I promise you, Ronnie Coleman and Phil Heath and Jay Cutler did not prep themselves for the Mr. Olympia. They had professional prep coaches. But does that mean that they then know nothing about bodybuilding or contest prep? Of course not. They've learned quite a bit about it along the way, but they still have to hire prep coaches. And that's the reality of the psychological state of contest prep. And the position it puts you in psychologically and emotionally, and the way that it clouds your judgment as you get leaner and leaner and you're dieting harder and the stress levels go up. All right, last question. What exercises do you recommend to increase performance in the bedroom? Now, before some people jump in and say cardio, I will point out that most sex is not really what you would think of as truly difficult cardio, to where it's like running for an hour straight. It uses the cardiovascular system, and your breathing and heart rate are going to go up, but it's not going to be like running at a full run for an hour. It is a much lower level of intensity. So if you have just some basic fitness from taking long walks, you're okay on the endurance side. So what you need to focus on is individual muscle strength for things like thrusting power and staying power, so that certain muscles don't cramp up, so they need to have a high work capacity so that they don't tire as easily. And that's going to be anything that works the hips, the glutes, and the abs. Now, things like squats, box squats, glute bridges, Romanian deadlifts, stuff like that are great because they're going to build most of those key muscles up, and they're going to give you more thrusting power, which is going to help you in the bedroom. And the other thing you're going to want to do with that is a lot of core work and a lot of abdominal work, because most of you know once you get sweaty and you're going at it for 10-15 minutes, a lot of times your abs tire out. They start cramping just because of the nature of the movements involved. And by having a well-developed, strong core, you're going to help prevent that from happening, and that's going to give you more staying power also. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.